Have you ever wondered how one man, born a slave in the sands of Arabia, rose to become the very first voice to call humanity to prayer? A man whose courage shook an empire, whose faith broke chains, and whose voice echoed through history louder than any king or warrior. This is the incredible true story of Bilal ibn Rabah, the first muezzin of Islam and a living symbol of faith, resistance, and freedom. Bilal was born in Mecca, the son of an Abyssinian woman taken captive and forced into slavery. From childhood, he lived under the harsh command of Umayyah ibn Khalaf, one of Quraysh's most brutal leaders. The world saw Bilal as nothing more than property, a servant with no name, no future, no power. But Allah had written a different destiny for him. Bilal grew into a tall, strong young man with striking features and a calm, dignified spirit. Though enslaved, he possessed something no master could ever own, a pure heart that recognized truth when it appeared. When the message of La ilaha illallah began to spread through the silent alleys of Mecca, Bilal listened and believed. The day he accepted Islam, everything changed. When Umayyah discovered Bilal's faith, he exploded with rage. Islam was still new, fragile, and persecuted, and to see a slave embrace it felt like a personal humiliation. So Umayyah did what tyrants always do when they fear truth. He used cruelty. They dragged Bilal into the scorching desert at midday. They tied him down on blazing sand, his skin burning under the Arabian sun. They placed a massive stone on his chest, so heavy he could barely breathe. His master shouted, "Renounce Muhammad, worship our idols, say the name of our gods." But Bilal's lips formed only one word, a word that would echo for centuries. Ahad, Ahad. One, one. The more they tortured him, the stronger that word became. His voice, cracked and dry, carried across the desert like a declaration of war. He was a slave, but in that moment he was freer than every man standing over him. News of Bilal's courage reached Abu Bakr al-Siddiq. He rushed to the scene, confronted Umayyah, and purchased Bilal's freedom at a price so high only a true friend of Allah would pay it. As Bilal stood up, bruised, exhausted, but unbroken, Abu Bakr whispered, "Brother, you are free for the sake of Allah." From that day, Bilal became one of the closest companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His voice was deep, powerful, and beautiful. The Prophet said that Bilal's heart was filled with purity, and one night he shared a vision with him. "I heard your footsteps in paradise." Bilal wept. When the Muslims built the first masjid in Medina, the Prophet looked at his companions and said, "Who will call the Adhan?" There was only one answer. Bilal climbed the rooftop, lifted his hands, and his voice soared into the sky. "Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! God is greater! God is greater!" It was not just a call to prayer, it was a call to freedom, to dignity, to a new world where color and status meant nothing. A call that shook the walls of old empires and raised a nation built on equality. Bilal became the first muezzin in Islam, the man whose voice awakened hearts across Medina 5 times a day. Years later, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, grief crushed Bilal's heart. For the first time, his voice broke in the Adhan. He could no longer call it without tears. So he left Medina, spending years remembering the man who had lifted him from the dust and given him the honor the world denied him. But one day, in Syria, he saw the Prophet in a dream. The Prophet said, "Bilal, why have you not visited me?" Bilal awoke in tears. He rode to Medina. When he reached the masjid and recited the Adhan again, the entire city wept, because it felt as if the Prophet had returned.
Bilal passed away in Damascus, but his legacy became eternal. The world remembers kings, generals, and rulers, but Bilal, he was the voice that carried the message of heaven. A man born a slave, yet honored above nobles. A man beaten by tyrants, yet undefeated in faith. A man whose words, Allahu Akbar, became the heartbeat of 1 billion believers. Bilal ibn Rabah is the proof that true freedom doesn't come from chains breaking, but from faith rising.